The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Whether you're packing for a vacation or dressing for a wedding, Nordstrom has head-to-toe looks for wherever summer takes you. From swimwear and bold color to romantic florals and dresses that make an entrance, find the right style for every unforgettable moment. Shop new arrivals from brands you love like Farm Rio, Free People, Vince, Waith, and Stod. Plus free shipping and returns and styling help whenever you need it make it all so easy. Shop now in stores at Nordstrom.com or download the Nordstrom app.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, it is the Anthony Cumia Show. How is everybody? Oh, yeah. It's Sunday once again. And, we have a whole week's worth of stuff to chit-chat about. Of course, if you want to join in the festivities, 800-848-9222. And, are you gay? Huh? Tomorrow starts your month, your big month. Gay Pride Month is June. Oh, boy. Yep. Plenty to do. Lots of activities and whatnot. If you want to join in as either, someone who's gay or an ally of the gay people. And I think we should probably learn a little about Gay Pride Month, because you're going to be seeing it all month. You're going to be hearing about it. I was kind of saying, it doesn't seem as in your face as it's been in the past few years. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe the Trump presidency. A lot of people in the Trump administration, they don't care about having gay pride months or this month or that month or day. It seems a little more tamed down this year than it has been. You don't see as much on social media, people turning their what are they, like their icons and their tags in putting them in rainbow colors. You don't see a lot of that going on. Sponsors, you don't see a lot of companies putting their logos and making them rainbows. So I don't know. Is it done? Is it over with? Are we done with the gay thing? I don't know. It's still Gay Pride Month, though. Starting tomorrow. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what there's. I looked for a bunch of activities. You know what they really seem to want to do? Bring the kids in. They want the kids involved. This is the part that really gets to people. This is the part, years ago, I remember years ago when everybody, gay people were clamoring for their rights. They didn't have rights. They couldn't marry. They couldn't, they had a hard time getting apartments and houses for themselves when they were all coupled up, unless they kept their sexuality in the closet. But now, hey, everything's cool. You can marry, you can hold hands walking down the street. No one cares. No one really cares. And if they have an opinion, that's their opinion. As long as no one hurts anybody, everything's fine. But that wasn't enough, was it? Equality is never enough for people that say they're fighting for equality. They hate equality. They want to be coddled. They want special treatment. Equality sucks. People could call you anything they want. They could tell you you're doing a lousy job. They could fire you and you can't say, but I'm gay. You're just another fired person. Who wants that? If you have a chance to milk this, to Harvey milk this thing for all it's worth, you're going to do it. No one gets all their rights and then goes, all right, pack up the office, put away the stationery with our little LGBTQ name and pronouns on it. We're all done. We're equal. There's not a law in this country, not a right that anyone has that does not also apply to us. They never do that. These organizations go on forever. So the LGBTQ community, the word community, Jesus, they have a whole month. June is Pride Month, a vibrant, rainbow-filled celebration honoring LGBTQ plus history, equality, and community. Families can celebrate Pride Month with the kids by attending family-friendly Pride events, like the over-the-top parades and rallies. Oh, really? Like the parade we saw the other day where transgender men were walking around completely naked, some of them with bows tied around their genitals. Is that the one you want to take the little kids to? The flamboyant get-ups, men, their hairy asses hanging out of Western chaps. That's it. Junior loved it. Oh, I can't imagine the nightmares the kids have when they take them home from those events. Arts and crafts, making rainbow crafts. Support LGBTQ-owned businesses. Learn about LGBTQ history and have real conversations about inclusion and acceptance. How about that, huh? So whether you're a member of the queer community, didn't that used to be a slur? Hey, you queer? I thought that was a slur. Or consider yourself an ally. Here's a few ways to celebrate Pride Month this June, again, with your kids. First of all, why? Why is June Pride Month? I've always wondered that one. Well, it seems that it's to mark the anniversary of the Stonewall riots in New York City. The Stonewall Inn on June 28th, 1969, was raided by the horrible, intolerant NYPD. It was a gay bar in Greenwich Village, New York. They try to make it sound so whimsical. I don't think anyone understands what gay bars were in 1969 New York City. Holy jeez. I bet when you walked in the door, it felt like you were on a skating rink. I bet you could slide right to the back of the bar. Whew. So there was a riot there because the cops tried to shut down the gay bar. And that led to a big, long protest, ignited a national firestorm. It was flaming of activism and elevated the fight for LGBTQ equality. Pride events celebrate the uprising annually. Right? That's why it's there. Let's see. In addition to recognizing the decades-long and still ongoing fight for equal rights in the queer community, see, it's still ongoing. It will never not be ongoing. That's how this stuff works. Jeez. Let me see. You got to also celebrate affirming all the community has accomplished. Really? What? What do we really need to celebrate? What accomplishments of the gay community? Their ability now to walk down the street completely naked. Is that it? While images abound with over-the-top, colorful costumes at pride marches and rallies. Yeah, you could call them that. There are many ways to celebrate pride, learning the history of the movement, supporting the diverse array of LGBTQ voices, taking in a family-friendly film. What is that? Like porn? And support local businesses. They got a lot of documentaries, things like that you might want to watch. This is interesting. Books. Maybe it says diversify your home library with some favorite books. Here's one. This one is called Heather Has Two Mommies, or Daddy, Papa, and Me. These books introduce your child to same-sex families. They're recommended. It says the empowering effort to set aside gender stereotypes is great for, get this, 3 to 6 year olds. 3 to 6 year olds are the ones you want reading this book about two men raising a child. I Am Jazz, the real life story of a young trans activist. Perfect for 4 to 8 year olds. 4 to 8 year olds have to hear about Jazz and her story, her journey. It's great when the mom talks about having to yell at Jazz to use her vagina dilator. Yeah, the mom yells at Jazz and goes, you got to use that or it'll close. You want your 4 to 8 year old reading about that stuff, don't you? Then there's movies. Brokeback Mountain is recommended. What's that for? 6 to 8 month olds. Harvey Milk. They want you to watch that. Pride playlists. And then crafting ideas. Good for toddlers to big kids. How about that? Pride. What does Pride Month teach children? A little too much, I say. But they say it teaches kids that love is love. And it doesn't matter where you find it or with whom, which is a pretty great message for everyone, even the kids. The easiest way to explain Pride Month to kids is to say it's a month for celebrating love and loving whoever you choose. So don't pay much attention to the naked, hairy-ass men walking in the parade, doing things to each other. No. It's okay. It's all good for the kids. Happy Pride Month starting tomorrow, everybody. All right. We'll be back with your calls, 800-848-9222. And we will be back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show, and lots going on. My God, this whole protest thing at the Delaney Hall ICE facility in Newark, beautiful Newark, New Jersey, is so infuriating. We've seen this over the course of years now in this country. People under the guise of protest are breaking the law and making life difficult for law enforcement trying to do their job, their legal job, a mission given to them by the President of the United States, backed up through challenges that other people have made against ICE doing what they're doing, getting rid of illegals in this country. And it's all legitimate, backed up by the Supreme Court. And still, they show up and riot and interfere with officers trying to do their jobs, assault officers, vandalize, arson, a little bit of everything going on. And they think they're allowed to do this because it's protesting, right? No, it doesn't resemble protesting at all. I like watching the videos of the cops going hands-on. It is a treat when they launch their tear gas, maybe shove them with their shield or hit them with their baton. I don't have a problem with it. And then people, sometimes they go, oh, Anthony, you're a bootlicker. Oh, you like fascism, Anthony, do you? When that boot is on the back of your neck, you'll understand that. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not breaking the law. And if I was, if I felt a cause was so important to get out there and protest it, I wouldn't be an idiot about it. I wouldn't do it, trust me. But I wouldn't be an idiot. I'd learn about what I'm trying to protest. That would help. And I wouldn't be vicious or abusive to somebody that came up and asked me what my cause was. That's for sure. But we see that. We see that with these protesters. So one of them, and I'm sure this happens all the time, but this guy was caught on video doing this. He was arrested. This guy was arrested for threatening a particular ICE agent. And this is the reason ICE agents wear masks. They cover their nose and mouth so that they can't be identified by the rioters that are throwing things at them. And you know why? Because those people are insane and they want to do harm not only to the ICE agent, but to their families, their houses, their places of their families' places of employment. This is what you see. They say it. They threaten people constantly. And I think the ICE agents themselves would not wear masks if all they had to worry about was that people were going to inflict harm on them. It's part of the job. You understand, cops, they sign up for that job and they know that there's an element of danger in there and people are going to get pissed at you and might make threats. They might follow through on some of those threats. I think cops know this. But you don't sign up your family, your wife and kids for the same danger. And these imbeciles that are rioting, they make no secret about the fact that they will go after anyone and everyone. They're all Nazis. Their kids are Nazis. And they feel completely justified in threatening the lives of ICE agents' families. They're pieces of garbage. Just garbage. So this guy luckily was arrested. And maybe, I doubt it, because like I said, these are very stupid, unintelligent, evil people. But maybe they'll see this and maybe not scream threats at people. Maybe. So here was the protester threatening an ICE agent and his family. This is AC9.
Family's dead. Come on. Children, your wife, all dead. Legit, my boy. I have your face, mother. You're dead. Dead.
You're dead. Your children, your wife, your whole family. I'll kill them all. And then ironically says, I have your face. We all have his face.
Yeah, so do we. And look, that's a federal crime. And not only threatening the ICE officer, but think about how disgusting this individual is, threatening his family and his children with death. What is this man doing? He's just doing his job standing there. And so that is disgusting, that what you just showed, and we see his face. And I promise you, we will find him. And when we find him, we will arrest him, because it is a crime not only to threaten law enforcement, but not surprisingly to threaten their family as well.
Yeah, it is disgusting. And that's who these people are. And any of these politicians like Hakeem Jeffries that back these people, Cory Booker, they support them. They have all the support in me. They're great people, peacefully protesting. This is what they say as they threaten to kill law enforcement's family, the wife and kids, because they are evil and violent and very ignorant. And all they understand is violence and wreaking havoc. That's why they go out there and bust the place up. Cars, the police vehicles, they take the barricades and throw them at the cops. That's peaceful? No, I think we know it's not. And look, I think these ICE agents and everybody else have to take this very, very seriously. Because we have seen so many instances where these lunatics on the left are ready, willing, and able to take up arms, weapons, and commit heinous crimes right up to murder when they think they're defending democracy, because that's what they hear from Washington and Hollywood and the like. Oh, these ICE agents. Trump is a Nazi. The ICE agents are his Gestapo. And they're all an existential threat to democracy. And then you get these idiots that go, yeah, I can save the country. All I have to do is take a few of these guys out. That's how they think. That isn't a stretch. You've seen a few of their dumbass manifestos. Easily impressionable. Easily you lie to them, and they follow your orders. And these Democrat politicians will not stop doing it. And they're the first ones going, hey, we got to bring the rhetoric down. The hate-filled, violent rhetoric has to be toned down. Why do you think this guy's yelling that the ICE agent and his family should be killed and that he's going to do it? Why, you think he just pulled that out of his behind? No, you're pumping these mental patients up with this thought and idea that they have to do this to save democracy. Disgusting. Okay, back in a flash.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, talking about the situation in Newark, New Jersey at the Delaney Hall ICE facility. It's been quite rambunctious over there. Quite the kerfuffle popping off over there. It is an ICE facility. They take people, illegal aliens, and they bring them there for processing and whatnot until they can load them up and get them out. Get the hell out. It's legal. The majority of this country wants this done. Joe Biden and whatever that was, his administration, flung the doors open. And we saw the damage that is still being done on a daily basis in this country because of Joe Biden's puppet regime policy of flinging the door open. When was the last time we heard about one of those caravans? Remember the caravans that would come from Central America and they'd give an overhead view of a line, a crowd of people that stretched to the horizon, walking down some crappy third world dirt road, heading north to the American border, knowing damn well no one was going to stop them. And that's what was happening. A nonstop parade of third worlders coming in illegally under Joe Biden. And all you heard from him and his administration, we got a bipartisan bill. This is what we all signed, bipartisan. That's the way to fix the border. We'd have issues with. And then Trump came in, slammed the door shut. No bill, no bipartisan bill, no compromises that had to be made with the likes of Chuck Schumer. None of that. He slammed the door because Joe Biden would have been able to do the same damn thing. He chose not to. They wanted illegals coming into this country in historic numbers. Why? Well, for votes. Yeah, we know that. For votes to add to the population of minorities in this country, because it's their goal to make white Americans the minority in this country. So that's part of it. And that's what was going on. Donald Trump shut the door. It was easy as that. Now, getting them out seems to be the hard part. There were so many let in that it feels like, what's that old saying? That ice is shoveling the crap against the tide. It's nearly impossible to get them out at any speed to match the speed at which they came in. And at every turn, the politicians, the Democrat, liberal politicians are trying to stop the president and ICE from doing what they need to do. We see it every day. And now with these riots, with this insurrection going on, they have support. They have support from these politicians that don't seem to have America's best interest at hand. Here is Governor, what is this, Mickey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey. And she's got the finger of blame, a little blame to point out as to who might be responsible for the hijinks and shenanigans going on at Delaney Hall at that ICE facility. This is AC 10. Let's listen to Mickey Sherrill.
We've seen that over the last couple of days, a lot of peaceful protesting going on.
Peaceful.
Which we're going to continue to support, making sure that people are safe and there's public safety,
peaceful.
but going forward, it's peaceful. And what seems to really be inciting a lot of this are really the ICE agents. So the ICE agents really need to stay out of there. That seems to really be inciting a lot of this right now.
The ICE agents really need to stay out of there. What? Out of the facility that they're running? Out of the place where they are doing their business that the president asked of them? What? Peaceful? Have you been watching what's going on at Delaney Hall in Newark, beautiful Newark, New Jersey? I don't know. Peaceful. Throwing barricades at the cops, lighting fires. It didn't look peaceful. I didn't see one piece of video shown from there that looked peaceful. It wasn't just people marching or reciting slogans. This was violence. And to say that ICE is perpetrating it or ICE is inciting it, do you know if these violent protesters, rioters, left the facility that they have no business being at? Well, the violence stops. ICE won't go around off of the Delaney Hall site looking for people to tear gas. You know, oh boy, we got to drive 10 miles away from the facility before we found somebody to shoot with a tear gas pellet. No. Who's inciting this? Well, Jersey, your governor thinks it is the ICE people. The ICE people that are doing this. This is the part that gets so many people furious with this so-called leadership. They do not see what's happened. Not see. They are blind, or they know what's going on and they choose to lie to the people. I mean, she was either incredibly stupid and ignorant as to what's going on at a facility in her state. These are the only choices. She's dumb. She's an idiot. She could not look at what was happening and comprehend what was going on, or she didn't even take the time to look at what was happening. That's gross incompetence. Or she's a lying crock of crap, and she knows exactly what's going on, and she knows that it's rioters and people that are causing trouble. They're paid agitators shipped in from Washington and, of course, New York. They're coming in from New York. All these liberal enclaves, and they come in and they start trouble. And these politicians, like Governor Sherrill, sit there and say they're peaceful. They're being peaceful. We see it. We have eyes. It's amazing. You scroll through and you watch the videos and you see them being violent agitators when law enforcement is trying to keep the road open, trying to keep their gate open so they can come and go to do the work that they need to do. And they're being stopped from doing that by these people who should be arrested. Push them back and shoot the tear gas. Sure, it's entertaining, but you have to stop this by arresting every single one of these violent agitators. You can't just push them back. You can't arrest one or two that get in your face. You got to just round them all up. If they are all in the middle of the street, they are all committing an arrestable offense, interfering with the operations of federal law enforcement. Arrestable. And then follow through. Make them have to go through the entire system. That's a pain in the ass. Costs time and money and aggravation. Put them through the entire system. Make them post bail. Make them get a lawyer. Make them have to wait 6 months for their case to come up. All that fun stuff. But wishful thinking, isn't it? Here's Ken from Akron, Ohio. Ken, what's up, man?
Thanks for taking my call.
Certainly.
I agree. And if you cross state lines to come and do this, this is federal. Why don't we bring in our own judge? They always get their judge that lets everybody go. Why don't we bring in our judge and start prosecuting these people? And like you say, if you send 30, 40 of them to prison for a while under federal charges, let's see people complain about that. You can't stop these protests until they see people getting retribution for it.
Exactly. They need to see that there are consequences.
How about we get the prosecutors at January 6 people that they put them in solitary and they got all those sentences. We get those same prosecutors to prosecute these people and tell them, if you don't work as hard on these people as you did January 6 people, we're coming after you next.
Yeah. Yeah. Do they honestly do they honestly think, because I've heard people say this, that the January 6th insurrectionists did so much damage. I have people that still to this day say that they killed police officers on January 6th. No, nobody killed police officers. A woman that was in the Capitol. There was some vandalism in there. Sure, people were being disrespectful to some windows, but shooting a woman in the neck, that's who died there. It was one of the people, not cops, not politicians, and they just will not look at it for that. They, from what I'm seeing at Delaney Hall, they are doing a lot more damage and hurting a lot more law enforcement officers than the January 6 people ever did. But they don't even arrest them, or if they do arrest them, they zip tie them and then they let them loose an hour later. No, prosecute and then sentence, some serious sentencing. Yes, Ken. Thank you, man. Here goes Ken, Akron, Ohio. Yeah. And this is what most people think. This isn't the fringe. The fringe are the nut jobs that back these people, that refuse to say what they're doing, which is more of an insurrection against the government than what January 6th did. Little trespassing on the Capitol grounds. 30 years. 30 years in prison. But, injuring law enforcement, threatening the lives of law enforcement agents and their family, assaulting them, throwing anything and everything at them, lighting their cars on fire. That's it's all peaceful. That's what Governor Sherrill says. That's peaceful protesting. What are you talking about? Didn't you see how peaceful it was? Kevin over there in, where are you? Long Beach, New York.
That's
What's
right.
up?
How you doing, Ed?
Good.
Yeah, she didn't hesitate to bring in the National Guard once it started getting real crazy, though. Did you notice that? Yeah.
Yeah, she brought the New Jersey Stadies in.
Yeah.
She supports them. It's peaceful. And then she brings the state troopers in to make sure the area is secure and safe for ICE because it was making her look bad.
And they came in on horseback, and they had the rubber bullets, everything. They were ready to go, man. I was glad to see that.
They must have been psyched to get into the fray. I saw some guy. It's just they are such babies. They're so beta male and just the F word for gay. That's really what I want to say, but I can't. It's I saw one guy. He had his camera. And he's recording the horses, the New Jersey troopers on horseback. And a horse nudged the guy. And he starts screaming, "The horse broke my camera. The horse, they're trampling us with their horses." I have seen children at stables, at ranches, at riding academies get knocked by a horse a lot harder than that, get thrown off of horses, and they get up, brush themselves off, and get right back on. They're immature, childlike idiots, and this is what. Why are we dealing with them? Why are we giving them any latitude? Arrest! They have to be arrested, right, Kev? I know you know. Thank you, man.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. And I was just scrolling through X during that, and this Nick Sorter guy's great. He's been doing a great job covering all this nonsense that's going on in Newark. And says Nick Sorter reveals the leftist rioter who threatened to kill ICE agents and their families is from out of state. He came in to make threats, and then Department of Justice tracked him down to in New York after 24 hours. Yeah, this isn't organic. These aren't organic protests. We have a group of people, American citizens, who are very upset with the government and the way they're running things. So they've taken it upon themselves to get some like-minded people together, make up some signs, and protest what's going on. That it doesn't resemble that, because it's not. These are paid activists. They're mercenaries. There are very wealthy left-wing extremists that finance these things. They back them with everything they need. They're dopey little cosplay warrior masks and vests and gloves. They set up tents and they supply them with food. They give them things to throw. Do you think years ago when we were seeing the riots, the George Floyd riots and whatnot, that it was a coincidence that pallets of bricks were just on the sidewalk, no construction zone in sight, and they were just placed around the area that these protesters, rioters, were going to show up in later that night. It's all organized. They are bought and paid for by people like Soros and wealthy, liberal, communist, globalists, activists worldwide. And that's what's happening. Don't for a second believe this is like, hey, wow, I don't agree with that. I'm going to exercise my First Amendment right, get a group of people together, and we're going to protest that and show people that we're not happy. No. This is paid for. Bought and paid for. Agitators. And they don't want them to just hold up a sign and protest. They want them hurting law enforcement. They want them making a scene. They want things to get worse so that they could blame ICE like the governor was doing. Blame ICE, blame Trump, blame law enforcement in general. And that's what you get. So here's Hakeem Jeffries. He's saying that Delaney Hall should be shut down. What? Why? Because rioters are showing up there? AC 16 for some Hakeem.
Here in America, immigration enforcement should be fair, just, and humane. That's not what's going on here at Delaney Hall. We spoke to several individuals, none of whom has a criminal record, many of whom have been detained here at Delaney Hall for months. This is not America. The lack of access to quality food, that's not America. The lack of access to adequate medical treatment, that's not America. The retaliation that is taking place, that's not America. The fact that there are 18-year-old high school girls being held here is not America. Delaney Hall should be shut down. And every single individual, particularly those at a high level connected to this facility, they're engaging in a depraved indifference to human life. And every single member of this Trump administration is going to be held accountable.
Held accountable. Wow. Hakeem. Yeah. First of all, every single one of them in the facility has a criminal record. They broke the law by coming into the country illegally. It's the way it is. And due process, this is the due process. You don't collect up illegals and then give them all this Perry Mason trial that's going to last for a month. This problem needs to be taken care of as quickly as possible. These aren't American citizens. The due process is for ICE to scoop them up, find out who they are, what they're doing here, where they're going. And when they figure all that out, ship their asses out. And that's what they're doing. What does he think should be done? Just release them again? Not just let them stay here? How is that good for the country, Hakeem? But again, just lies. Lies. The health care, the food, the this, the that. Yeah, a lot of Americans are struggling with that too. There's a lot of American veterans that's served to protect the country. And they're hungry and don't have proper medical care. That's more of a priority in my book than illegals. You want them shipped out faster, Hakeem? That's good. If there have been people in those facilities for months, I am all for having them shipped back to wherever the hell they came from within days. Yes, I agree, Hakeem Jeffries. We can't have people in these facilities for months. Get them out in a couple of days and toss them right back to the country they came from. All right? Yeah. Okay, people, your calls, 800-848-9222. We still got plenty to talk about. And, yeah, we want to hear your opinions on some of these matters. Back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Is the Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all your support that you've given us here on this very program for over a year now. I love it. Thank you, people. And I want to talk to you a little bit about FanDuel Predicts. Oh, yeah. What's going on? Of course, basketball. That's a huge thing. Wednesday, the Knicks are, they're looking good. They're going to be playing the San Antonio Spurs, and the World Cup is starting soon. New York is going to be a mess with sports, traffic. Oh, my God. And then they're also talking about maybe the president, Donald J. Trump, might show up for one of the games at Madison Square Garden. FanDuel Predicts, how about you bet on that? Will Donald Trump show up at a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden? Because it's not just about the sports. It's not just about betting on a game or the points or this. It's everything. A prediction market. You know what that is? Yeah. People hear prediction market. They go, what? I don't even know what that is. You bet on everything. What's gold going to be? What's gold going to open at on Monday? You could bet on that. And the beauty of it is the prices move based on what everyone thinks. So you're not just jumping in blind. You can look and go, people say gold is going to be this price. I'm going to jump right in on that bandwagon. And bet on everything, anything. How about the prop bets for a lot of these sports? Is a certain player going to make a certain amount of points? You could do that. It's a prediction market. You bet on pretty much everything and anything. And it certainly changes how you watch sports. Not only sports, just about everything. Politics. Hey, is there going to be a peace deal between Trump and Iran this week? Maybe Thursday. Bet on it. FanDuel Predicts. It's called a prediction market. And it makes everything in life that much more interesting, doesn't it, folks? It's offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus, please. They give you a bonus, too, when you sign up. The bonus is non-withdrawable, expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with our consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms. FanDuel Predicts. Awesome, man. That's fun. I swear. I'm in South Carolina, so they make it really difficult to bet online, do anything online. It's got to be that Lindsey Graham, right? He doesn't mind. He doesn't mind wars, but perish the thoughts someone is able to make the game a little more interesting with FanDuel Predicts on my phone. When I go up to New York, that's when I let loose and do it. It's a lot of fun. All right, people. Let's see who's on the horns here. Well, my good friend Joaquin in the the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. What's up, Joaquin?
That would be right. As a matter of fact, at least we're pretty good on the Second Amendment here. So,
I know. I was considering PA when I was going to leave New York, but too close to New York. And if I'm going to move, I'm going to get weather-wise, I want it to be a little better than PA. So nothing
I want
personal.
to celebrate Pride Month with you. Think about it, man. LGBT, NEQ, liquor, guns, beer, teats. Any questions? Just enjoy your guns before you enjoy your liquor and beer.
I've seen the shirts to that one. Yeah.
I love that one. Yeah. But you know something? Now we get down to brass tacks. I want to see Trump 2.0, okay? Because I'm getting really tired of a lot of this pussy fooling around. First place, there were two women that were allegedly killed on January 6th. Roseanne Boylan was beaten, all right, with a baton and not allowed any medical help or anything like that while she was trapped in that tunnel with the tear gas, okay? Mm-hmm. So there's actually 2 women that were killed that day. And, you know, the left, the Democrats, they really showed us that they gave us the game plan on how to deal with these insurrectionists. I'm sorry, man. They should be hunted down, and they should be thrown into a solitary hole, no bail, and then put the hearings off as long as possible.
Right. Yeah. Put them through everything Jay Sixers went through.
You know, and so, you know, when you look at, like, past presidents, take George Washington. George Washington, we need the George Washington. He was actually a real killer. That man, if you read about his exploits and the amount of people that he killed in wars personally with his own hands, and then
Shane Gillis does such a funny bit on George Washington just being this giant maniac-looking guy with wood teeth, just kicking ass all over the place. Look it up on YouTube. Shane Gillis talking about George Washington. It's hilarious.
About George's. He had 2 or 3 horses shot out from under him, and then his long coat had all kinds of bullet holes in him, you know, and the guy kept going. But he killed a lot of people with his own bare hands, you know. And then you have others like Andrew Jackson and Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah. We need another president like these guys, you know, and we really have to start getting Americans to really understand, you know, to wake up and smell the coffee, because quite frankly, this flood of illegal immigrants, I came across a UN document, 156 pages. I kind of lost it, but and it explains how exactly they wanted to flood, you know, Western civilization with all these people from Africa and from the Middle East, you know, under the guise of replacement because of the aging populations in these countries. Well, you know, with the way AI is starting to take a lot of things over, we're not going to need a lot of cheap labor anymore, you know, so... I'm sorry, you know, I would be hardcore. I'd like to see Tom Holman 2.0. Yes, I would change it to NICE, National Immigration Customs Enforcement. And then I would nice guys out to get the bad guys.
Yeah, it's we're in some strange times, Joaquin. One positive thing I did see is that Americans, especially white Americans, couples are starting to have more kids. They're kind of cranking out the kid thing now. I think a lot of people have returned to their faith, their Christianity, and, procreate. I think it's happening, but we'll see if they could step it up to the level where other people that have come here from faraway lands are having kids, and we'll see. But there's a little hope there. Little hope, Joaquin. Thanks, man. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I just... it's funny, during the call, I got a little message from home base up there in New York that the Shane Gillis bit about George Washington is available. But I knew that it's so full of curses, and you know, that's Shane. He doesn't mince words. So if you wanna watch it, it's up there on YouTube. It's funny as hell, though. Talks about how George Washington, he called him a big retard, I think, with wooden teeth and just murdering people. It's very funny. Shane's a funny guy, man. I enjoy Mr. Gillis. Okay, so what are we looking at here now? We have to talk about your mayor up there in New York, Zoran Mamdani. I saw Sid Rosenberg, who does the morning show up in New York on WABC radio in New York. And he's not too happy with Zoran. Hasn't been since Zoran his name first popped up. But Zoran made an excuse to not be involved in the Israeli Day Parade that was taking place in New York. He goes to other parades. I think he was at one of the Palestinian parades. So it's not a good look if he wants to say how supportive he is of New York Jews. And a lot of people support the Jews in New York, but don't support Israel. There's people that love Israel, but have a problem with Jews in this country. I try to stay out of any real debate there. It is such a powder keg. But, you know, Sid, he doesn't mince words either. And it's great. So Mamdani has an issue with Israel. We know that. I don't think he likes Jews. I really don't. And he doesn't like private ownership of real estate. That's for sure. He ran on this whole thing. Communism. It's communism. Oh, no, he's a democratic socialist. He's a communist. And he does not like the idea of private property. He wants the city, him, to run the city, and then he wants the city to own the real estate, the apartment buildings, everything that's for rent. He wants rent controlled for low-income housing and all the usual stuff. You don't own anything. The state owns everything. And then they sprinkle out a little something for you every so often. Communism has always been rife with poverty. The power that the communist leaders have is unlimited. Their wealth is unlimited. They live way above the lifestyle of any of their subjects. And it seems like that's what Mamdani wants to do. This is his play on real estate. He makes it so miserable for real estate owners, people that are renting apartments in New York. He makes it impossible for them to make money. The taxes, the fees that are put on everything, the ability for bad tenants to stay in these apartments for years without paying any rent, squatters' rights, all these things. And now, of course, he says if a landlord is being negligent, the city can take the building. This is unheard of. And what does negligent mean? I understand. I've seen some slums, and you see these piece of crap slumlords running it. But a coat of paint, maybe, that doesn't really merit having your building taken away. But we've seen how these commies work, especially when it's trying to get to their goal of state ownership of everything, and you don't own anything, and they give you what they want to give you, which is usually the bare minimum. We're going to take a quick break, then we'll be back with Zoran Mamdani talking about his real estate grab in New York and your calls and a lot more. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Talking about Zoran Mamdani, your esteemed mayor of New York City. And he talked about this in his campaign. He wants the state to run housing, run the apartments. He wants the state to be the landlord for everyone. He hates private ownership. And he's not mincing words about it. This is Zoran Mamdani talking about how he might pull this off. AC1 is the clip.
When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
Oh, that sounds great. A co-op. Even the tenants themselves. With the vision he has for these buildings to take the impoverished, poor, mentally ill, the formerly homeless, and pile them into these buildings on your dime, on your taxpayer money. What do you think? They're going to be able to run the place? They can't keep one apartment nice. You've seen it before in these state-run public housing projects over the course of the years. They are a disaster, crime-filled, disgusting, and so costly. But this is his dream. Every one of his commie dreams are a picture-perfect version of what has been tried and what has failed before. That's what it is. Look at any time people try socialism, communism. Look at Cuba. I mean, do you really have to look anywhere else? Look at Cuba. What a great example of a government-run country. You know, it's relatively small, and they can't even deal with the people, keeping them healthy, keeping them fed, and keeping them housed. Everything there is breaking apart. And Zoran Mamdani thinks he's going to be the guy to finally get it right. After well over a century, he's the one that's finally going to turn that screw the right way and hammer out that socialism thing and make it work. It's so it's such a carrier of corruption, socialism. I'm not saying our system doesn't have its fair share of corruption and fraud and crime, but I mean, you talk communism, socialism, it works off of fraud. It works off of a very, very small group of elites that live like kings off of the backs of the people who are poor and sick and never have anything given to them that would make them feel like they've accomplished anything. That goes a long way. Incentive, wanting to do better, being proud of what you do, that gets removed for the vast majority of the people that have to live under socialism. I work, my money goes to the government then hands everyone the same amount to live with. Why would I work any harder than the next guy? Why would I want competition? Why would I excel and do better than everybody else if I'm not getting anything more for it? That's what it is. And that's why it never works. That's one of the reasons why it never works. There's just no incentive to do any better than the lowest common denominator in the population. And it's been said 1,000 times. I'm not some amazing social economist over here blasting out knowledge from the radio speakers. It's just the way it is. It is the way it is. This is another story that came out. This is typical, because these are the kind of laws and things that are happening in New York. A woman has an apartment, and she rents it out in New York City. You know, a lot of these landlords, a lot of people that are renting apartments, they're not these giant corporations, and they don't own buildings and neglect the tenants. They are just trying to get by. You know, you bought an apartment, you rented it out, now you're able to buy another apartment. It's a building game, and it's these people's career. And the laws that are in place in New York are so despicable. They protect the tenants that are trying to destroy you and your business. I'm not talking about a landlord that doesn't do what they're supposed to do, that makes you live in squalor because they're not doing maintenance. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that rent out these apartments and they get these Section 8 people. The government pays their rent and they destroy the apartment. And then you can't get them out. You're not able to get them the hell out of your property. The NYPD removed a tenant who was destroying an apartment almost 2 years after the landlord filed for eviction. Imagine 2 years you're waiting to get a destructive piece of garbage out of your property, and the rent is being paid. The most difficult thing is the rent is being paid. This woman, let's see. Oh, this guy, Falad Dirigible. What the hell's his name? Farad not gonna live here no more. He got an apartment, rented an apartment. It was paid for $2,350 a month rent with New York City Human Resources Administration voucher. So you're paying. You're not only the landlord renting the apartment, but part of the money that you make, you pay in taxes for this guy to live in your apartment. Falad then caused around $30,000 in damage to the apartment, breaking down walls, ripping out sheetrock, destroying the bathroom, knocking down mailboxes, driving through people's backyards, got a girl in the car. That's a man act. All right, I got a little carried away there. Amy and her son, Kevin, also had to spend around $40,000 in legal fees to get this piece of garbage evicted. It took 2 years. The lease ended in February of 2025. The eviction proceedings commenced in August of 2024. And Amy told the Post, he happily destroys our lives for 2 years, and I can't get a judge to remove him from the apartment. Amy stated, you take people in a homeless situation, you put them in a private landlord situation, and they put the burden on us. We're not social workers. We do this as a business. I can't understand why they don't help this guy. He needs so much supervision. He's a threat to the neighbors. 3 tenants left the building because they felt it was dangerous, and the city just washes their hands. They put these mental patients in these buildings. They pay their rent, and then you can't do anything to get them out, even if they're completely destroying your property. That's New York, people. That's your wonderful New York City. And if you think someone like Zoran Mamdani and his appointees are going to make it easier to kick these people out, good luck. Back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is Anthony Cumia here on this Sunday evening. Let's talk to Mike in Brooklyn, New York. Mike, you don't come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that. Mike, what's up?
Hi, Anthony. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Yeah, just trying to go back to that ISIS thing over in Jersey there. You know?
Yeah.
My opinion is they should all be locked up for interfering with the government, trying to overthrow the government, and everything, against the government. Lock them up, put them on a bus, fly them down to Guantanamo Bay, have a judge down there, and say, okay, we'll see you in 6 months. You're released on bail, pay your bail, and by the way, get home on your own now. Goodbye.
Yeah, I agree. They're not doing that. What happened to Alligator Alcatraz? Remember that? That was a big thing. They were taking these illegals down to Florida, putting them in a place called Alligator Alcatraz. And I think at some point they were using a facility on Gitmo. And every time these Democrats come out and they paint this picture like there's atrocities going on, they're being whipped and they're not getting food, and it's just not true. We have to have a system to get rid of these people. If anyone's to blame, it's Joe Biden and his administration, his puppet regime, who brought in so many of these illegals that it put any president, whether it was Trump or anyone else, in a position where you have to work very quickly because there's so many of them to get out. Blame the Biden administration. If there were just a few thousand, even a couple of million in this country, it would have been a lot easier, and we could have taken maybe a little more time and put a little more effort into making sure that people are comfortable. I don't know. But the way it is, so many of these people were allowed in that it's like processing chickens in this country. You can't pet and coddle the chicken before you lop its head off and make chicken legs and wings out of them. There's too much demand in this country. And that's how it is with illegals. You can't chop their legs and wings off. No, there's too many of them. And we have a job to do. It has to be done. And, Biden's the one that screwed that whole thing up. He made this a horrible situation. Sandra from New Jersey. Sandra, my dear, how are you?
Hi, Anthony. How are you doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, I live in New Jersey. I live between the Lincoln Tunnel and the George Washington Bridge. Newark is not that far from where I live. And
so you're in the Hudson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think about what's going on there, and I really feel that Mikey Sherrill could have avoided this by going there quietly for a few days and take a look herself what's going on. And I know they would have let her in if she did it nicely,
Maybe.
without anger.
Yep.
And then I say, Anthony, I want to know now how it is in there. I would like someone, to take some videos so we could all see what these detention centers are like. I'd like to see, are they served nicely with dignity? Is the food really good? I bet it's pretty good. I bet it's not bad.
Sandra, you know what the problem is? Even if that was done, they would say that they just gussied the place up for a day, and this isn't what happens on a regular basis. They lie. And as far as the governor going there to check things out, she doesn't want to, because then she would have seen what's happening. And she'd have to report the truth back, and she doesn't want to do that. It's a lot easier to make up a horrible story that these people are being abused, that the protests are peaceful, that ICE is the one inciting any violence. If she goes there and sees it for herself, and we watch her watching the situation, then we'll go, hey, see, these are the people instigating. ICE is trying to do their job. But that's the last thing she wants. She could sit back in the governor's mansion and say, oh, my God, these awful ICE agents, these wonderful protesters, these horrible conditions, these undocumented Americans are under. See, they lie, Sandra, and that's what they want to keep doing. So they don't want to be educated as to what's going on. It's an education, knowledge about what's going on. It's their worst enemy. Thank you, dear. Oh, I can't hang up because the continue button up on the phones in New York City has to be pressed. I should be able to press that button myself, like the nuclear button. I should get that one too. All right. Could you hang up, Sandra? There we go. Yeah, they don't want that. They don't want to know what's really going on. They don't want to get in front of their constituency and report what's really going on. It's the opposite of all the lies they've been telling. I think Hakeem Jeffries wants to take a look around and then come out and go, hey, look, it wasn't that bad. It's 100% against his agenda to just crap on every single thing that ICE is doing, that Trump's doing. That's why they don't want to be educated. Oh, this is great. This was one of my favorite things this week. Jill Biden, I'm so sorry, Dr. Jill Biden. Remember when Whoopi Goldberg on The View said that Dr. Jill Biden would make a great, what was that? Not a Surgeon General. A great Surgeon General for the United States. Because, she's a doctor. Whoopi didn't even know that she has a doctorate, but she's not a doctor. That people can be addressed as doctor that have no idea about anything to do with the human body, or medicine, or she just heard doctor. It's like, oh yeah, I got my I had my spleen removed the other day by Dr. William H. Cosby Jr. Oh, yeah. Years ago, my brain surgeon, Dr. Martin Luther King, did quite a job. So Dr. Jill Biden, she's been making the rounds. Was there a book or something? Why is she yapping? Why is she out there on news shows yapping? But she is. And she was asked a few questions about Joe Biden's mental acuity before, during, and after his presidency. And, of course, the fateful evening of the debate that pretty much ended any chance they were going to be able to drag this fossil across the finish line for the election. So Jill was so frightened when she watched the debate, and she's going to tell you about it here. AC4 is the clip. Joe Biden. AC4. Joe Biden, so frightened.
Were you horrified as you saw it unfold?
I wasn't horrified. I was frightened because I had never, ever seen Joe like that.
Right.
Before or since.
Sure.
Never.
Or since.
Yes. Or
You've
since.
never seen him like
never.
that?
No.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. I mean, as I watched it, I thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke. And it scared me to death.
Scared her to death. Thought he was having a stroke. She was frightened. All right, then what did you do? You paraded him around, got him in front of a group of people and started saying, you answered all the questions. She talked to him like a retarded kindergartner. Why wouldn't you whisk him off the stage and take him to the hospital to maybe get tested to see if he did have some medical emergency, if you were frightened? You paraded him around trying to play up this bad situation that Biden was in after that debate. He did great. I think Joe did great. Why didn't you look at the camera and go, oh my God, I'm so frightened. Can we get a couple of Secret Service guys? The ambulance is out back. We got to get Joe to the hospital. No. But she was petrified. She was frightened. Medical emergency. This woman is more full of crap than her husband. Wouldn't you think you would be concerned? And then she never saw before or after the debate. Never noticed anything. We all did. We saw his decline in mental acuity over the course of his presidency. We all knew it when they locked him in the basement during the campaign. Even before he was president, we knew it. And we saw the decline, and we saw the debate, and then we saw it after the debate. So for her to say it never happened before, it never happened after, yeah, it did. We weren't looking at that debate and going, oh, my God, I think Joe Biden's having a medical emergency. We were going, yep, this is exactly what we knew was going to happen. He's been losing his mind to some type of dementia for a couple of years now. And this is exactly what we expected. Look at social media. Every social media account, except for the left-wing extremists that were delusional or blatantly lying, who are saying, oh, my God, this is going to be a massacre tonight because Joe Biden can't function with his mind being as shot as it is. But Jill didn't know. She didn't know. Never happened before or after. Interesting. So this is her saying that, that she never saw Joe in mental decline. This is another clip. I think it's different than the first one we just listened to. AC 15. If it's the same one, we'll just cut it short. But I think she was asked again about Joe's mental state.
Did you ever see signs that he was falling into cognitive decline?
No.
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 Truly?
No.
I mean, people were saying
Promise.
It wasn't the same Joe
Cross
Biden.
your heart. Stick a needle in your eye.
I don't think that's true. He was the essence of the same Joe Biden, but yeah, he was slowing down. He was getting older. I mean, we all observe that. When you know, it's a very intense job. I think it ages you quickly.
You can't just write it off as, well, all presidents age. Did you see Obama? Oh, he had some gray hairs when he left. And yeah, we've seen presidents. That job is very stressful and but we saw Joe Biden during the campaign. He couldn't string a coherent sentence together. He would get angry and then yell and stammer because he suddenly had a stutter. Remember they talked about the stutter? I can watch so many video clips of Joe Biden as a young senator, and I didn't hear one stutter out of this guy. He was loud. He spoke pretty quickly, articulate. I didn't like what he was saying, but yeah, he was coherent. And she's saying because of the 4 years of the presidency, that's why he had a little bit of a slowing down. He got a little older. No, he has some type of dementia, and it's progressive, and that's what we saw. That's what we all saw, except Jill. She didn't see that. This is Jill saying she was so certain that Kamala Harris was going to win. And that's the whole thing because Joe was so pissed when after the debate, when they said, "You're done, Joe. We're throwing in the towel. Kamala Harris is going to be the anointed one without any say from the Democrat voters or anything. No primary, no nothing. Yep, she's the one." And they put her up there. No one liked her. Let's be real. When she was in the primary, or when she was running for president and trying to garner support, she had to drop out before Iowa. Before the Iowa caucus, she dropped out because of a complete lack of interest in her. And now 4 years later, months before the election, she's the candidate. And then Obama going around saying, she's the most qualified candidate, I think, in history. Like, what? Any president we've ever had, Kamala Harris is more qualified than that person was to be president. The lies they brought out, and then they drag out the usual suspects. Oh, it's Beyonce and Jay-Z. Remember how well that went for Hillary? On her night before the election party, big rap fest that she had with Jay-Z and Beyonce. And what happened the next day? Huh? We all remember. Oh, God, what a wonderful day that was. So she thought Kamala was going to win. Let's listen. Jill Biden, AC 14.
You went all out to get Vice President Harris elected. Right?
Oh, all out. I was out on the trail I think every single day. I traveled the entire country. And, you know, that the night, the election night, I mean, I was certain she was going to win.
You were.
The excitement for her and the crowds and
what excitement?
I mean, how people rallied around her. And
they were paid.
Felt that she was going to win. I was shocked she didn't win, because I think she would be a good president.
Good,
and,
not great. She said it right there.
I don't know. I went to bed. I mean, I couldn't believe that she had lost. I couldn't believe it.
We all could believe it. She was a terrible, terrible candidate. Remember when they'd ask her about inflation? What are you going to do about inflation? Oh, at the grocery stores, price gouging. What? All the grocery stores got together. It wasn't Biden's policies or any of that. The grocery stores all conspired to raise the prices. She didn't have an answer to anything. And then the real, I don't know, defining moment, I guess you'd call it, was when she said that she had no problem with any of Joe Biden's policies and would just continue with Joe Biden's policies. People were pissed at Joe Biden's policies. The price of everything was insane. And it was price gouging. Is that what it was? So it's just another lie. And Jill Biden really was pushing to get Kamala Harris elected. Joe was so pissed. He hates Kamala Harris. And he felt that was a backstab. And that was that. You think Jill is out there? She's just trying to keep any relevance on Joe Biden so she could continue this going around being an important person, a popular person. She knew if Trump got in there, the Bidens, goodbye. We don't want to see you again. We don't ever want to hear from you again. So she's just a liar. I got one more clip, and we'll get to that when we return right after these words.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, the Anthony Cumia Show. And we're talking about Jill Biden and her recent interview that's been making the rounds. The clips are all over social media. And I just believe she is a liar. I think her whole career as the first lady over the past 4 years, or Joe Biden's tenure as president during his term, she just is full of it. She lies about saying she didn't know Joe Biden had any mental acuity issues, and she still does. Oh, he's fine. And what about that stage 4, stage 5 cancer that Joe Biden had, prostate cancer? The guy's in his 80s. He supposedly had inoperable cancer and nothing. Then we don't hear anything. We don't hear that he's going for treatment. He's in the hospital. It's this, that. I don't believe one thing that's ever come out of the Joe Biden White House or anything that's come out of the Biden family since he's been out of the White House. And this is just another thing. It's the pardon. Hunter Biden's pardon. Jill was asked about that. Of course, we all remember Joe Biden saying he would never pardon Hunter Biden, his son. And then he did. Because they were speculating that Donald Trump would pardon his kids for, I don't know, what crimes were there? There are no crimes. They're running the Trump empire during the time that Donald Trump is president. There have been no crimes. There have been no indictments or charges against the Trump family. We know Hunter Biden's a piece of garbage. Guy with the whores and the coke and all that. So Joe said he would not pardon Hunter Biden, and then he did. And Jill was asked about this. The clip is AC-13. Let's see if it's more BS. Oh, AC-13, please.
President Biden had said that he would never pardon his son.
He did.
And then he pardoned him. Did you urge the president to think again about that?
Well, Joe said in the beginning, I won't pardon Hunter. I won't pardon Hunter. And then...
and did you say...
And then the
that?
Justice Department changed. And I think that the process was not fair to Hunter. But then when Trump was elected, things changed. And we knew that he would target Hunter. And we just could not let our son go to jail on a charge that no one would go... no one has ever gone to jail for.
Did you urge the president to pardon Hunter?
Oh, gosh. I truly supported it. I wanted him to pardon Hunter at that point. And I agreed with Joe.
President Biden, for the first time in history, also preemptively pardoned other members of your family. Why did he decide to do that?
I suppose for the same reason that he felt that they would be targeted.
Because he knew they were guilty?
You felt that the Trump Justice Department would target them, or the Trump administration would target them. Are you worried in publishing this book that the Trump administration will come after you?
Oh, please. Yeah. Joe Biden didn't want any of his family, his son Hunter, his brother, being indicted because they would implicate Joe in everything that was going on that we found out about anyway. The Ukrainian stuff, all of this money, his son selling access to Joe Biden by selling his ridiculous paintings for hundreds of thousands of dollars apiece. And then Joe Biden's not president anymore. And what happened? Where are these amazing paintings going for unbelievable amounts of money? The Clintons did the same thing with the Clinton Global Initiative. Oh, make a donation. Pay me millions of dollars to speak at one of your seminars, and you'll have access to the White House. This has been happening for so long with these people. And I know there have been Republicans that do it, and then saying that the Justice Department changed and she didn't want Hunter to be singled out and prosecuted for crimes that she says no one would have done that amount of time. And oh, you mean like supposedly jacking up the price of your property to get a loan? No one's ever gone to prison for that. The hypocrisy abounds with these people. All right, don't you go anywhere. We're going to be back after a short break. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, thank you so much for tuning in. Do you know there's a YouTube channel, and you can see actual video of me doing this very show? That's right. It's at 77 WABC Radio on YouTube, and it's very good. Throughout the week, clips come out. Send them to your friends. Make fun of me. Whatever you want to do. It's out there. The future is out there. Hochul. Got to talk about Hochul because just when you think your privacy isn't being invaded enough, or technology isn't encroaching on your ability to do things, and the government is using technology against you, this is always the way it happens too. It's every single time. I've said it time and time again. Any technology that the government or even commercial businesses want to use against you, they will present it to you as a convenience. This is great. You need this. It's going to make your life easier. You're not going to have to do this or that or remember. Our phones are a great example. Why we call them phones, I don't know. It's got to be less than 1% of what I use my phone for is being an actual phone. Texts, social media, an encyclopedia, the entire contents of every library on earth. And that's a great thing. But you got to put a lot of information in that, don't you? And I don't care what they say. The phone is listening to you. I don't buy it that it's a coincidence that when you're talking about a subject or a product or whatever, that it just happens to pop up in an email or as an ad on your social media. You're never going to convince me that, no, it's just a coincidence. It's a hell of a coincidence, and it happens a lot. So I don't buy that. But everything that could go into your car, new appliances, it's just there as a convenience at first. But then, just like you speaking after you've been arrested, you have the right to remain silent. And any lawyer will tell you that is the best advice right there. That is the best thing you can do, is just shut your yap until Saul Goodman shows up. But, when you're remaining silent, but your car is yapping and ratting you out, your refrigerator, the toaster oven is a rat, and you're keeping your mouth shut, but it's talking to the grocery store. Your refrigerator is ordering stuff from Amazon because it knows what you're eating. How do you know that information won't be sent from your refrigerator to your health insurance company? Boy, this guy sure eats a lot of crappy food. Maybe we should raise his insurance rates because he's putting himself in danger of having issues, heart issues or what have you. Because your refrigerator ratted out to your insurance company? But it's convenient. I don't even have to look at what's in my fridge anymore. And then it just orders automatically from Amazon. And then Amazon sells the information to United Healthcare. Oh, okay. But I just did it because it was handy. Yeah, that'll happen. Easy Pass, it's another thing. Who wanted to continue throwing a handful of change into that stupid basket? Oh, I dropped a nickel. Now you got to open the door. There's beeping behind you. Remember what a pain in the ass that was? So Easy Pass, that's great. I'm whipping right through the tolls. Oh, yeah, well, this is a messy divorce case, isn't it? Well, your Easy Pass just ratted you out that you were seeing some woman that lives off the Jersey Turnpike, and we have exactly where you went through the Easy Pass thing, and you had no other business there, and this woman lives there. Everything is ratting you out. This here is very interesting. Governor Hochul in New York has an idea for some technology. If you get, well, I'll let Governor Hochul tell you. This clip would be AC6, and I didn't even know they had. I assume they had this type of technology, but what would they use it for? Well, they're going to use it for this. And believe me, we will discuss what this really means in the future. Here's Governor Hochul.
This is another area where I'm surprised at the controversy around it when it makes so much sense. You think about someone, I'm going to ask these gentlemen here, if someone gets 16 speeding tickets in a year, would you consider that an excess speeder? And that's not normal, right, guys? I mean, they're just looking for an accident. They're looking to end up in this repair shop. So what we said, we have to protect people. There's pedestrians, there's moms pushing strollers, there's people on bikes, there's kids going to school. We have to protect people. And if someone is so flagrantly violating the laws that there's a callous disregard of human life, is the only way I can describe it, there have to be consequences. Have to be. So now we have technology that says there's a device that can be installed in a vehicle that would limit how fast you can go.
Really?
And I think that's what happens. There's plenty of notification. You can appeal if you want to question one of the tickets in the prod. There's due process. We'll make sure. But installing this, and if you don't install it, after 45 days, you lose your registration. You should not be on the roads if you don't care about whether or not you're going to kill somebody. And when you hug a mom, lots of moms, as I've had to do over the last few months, who've lost children, that pain never grows away.
Never grows away.
Some comfort in their hearts that maybe they can prevent the next family from having to grieve the way they did because of someone's reckless indifference to life.
All right. Well, a device that goes in your car, and if you get 16 speeding tickets in a year, which is excessive, you have to put a device in your car where something in the device prevents you from speeding. I did a little research on this. It would use GPS, like the GPS is in your newer vehicles, where it knows the speed limit on any given roadway, and you will not be able to go faster than that speed limit, depending on where the GPS sees that you are at any given moment. So, all right, let's kind of take this apart a little bit. 16 speeding tickets. That is excessive. And look, I like a little, I watch Smokey and the Bandit, and I think it's awesome. Bandit's the hero in that. He's speeding. Sort of a rebellious thing to do back in the day. If you had a muscle car or something, speeding was just part of it. Exciting, fun. I had a Jaguar F-Type a few years back. The thing was a beast. Just amazing handling, the power. I got so many speeding tickets in that car, and I never complained or argued. I knew damn well when I was getting pulled over that I was in the wrong and I was speeding. One time, 101 in a 55, and he gave me the old "I could arrest you right now" speech, and he could have. That's beyond speeding. That's reckless driving, and then you decide that you're going to be a little more responsible. You weigh it out and go, I just can't do that. I'm going to lose my license. I had a suspended license for 6 months. They suspended the license. They laughed at my face. And I had to get a restricted license where I could only use it for work, and for 6 months because I was being reckless. I was speeding. I understand that. But to have a device go in your vehicle that is now controlling how fast you can go, I don't like that. I say after, let's go crazy and say 5 speeding tickets in a year, you take away your license. There, you've lost your license for a year on the first 5. And then after that, if you get another speeding ticket, you just lost your license. You're done. You got to move or whatever. I get that. Speed is definitely a huge contributor to automotive deaths in this country. I think it's right behind illegal aliens driving tractor trailers. But to have a device that the government puts in your vehicle, no, you will never convince me that this is a good step. And if you think for a second it's going to stay at 16 speeding tickets a year, that's the problem now, isn't it? It's anyone would go 16 tickets a year. Of course. Lock the guy up. Take the device and beat him over the head with it. Never mind putting it in his car. But that's where you start. Then it goes down to what? 10, and then 5 maybe, and then, hey, no one should be speeding ever. So if you have 2 speeding tickets, I honestly think you should put this device in your vehicle. And then it conjures up this other paranoia that I have, that it could be used for a lot of other things. Why can't the device make it so you can't drive at all? Well, why would they do that? Well, maybe there's a epidemic. There's a flu epidemic. And people are going out in public and endangering grandma and grandpa and the kids. So why don't we just shut everyone's cars off so they can't go out? They can't move. They have to stay at home. It's a national emergency. We have to do that. You don't think that could happen? I think you're being a little more naive than I am being paranoid. But maybe you got something you want to discuss on this topic. 800-848-9222. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. I was just checking out X, and it's easy. Anthony Cumia on X. You want to get in touch with me there? There you go. And I'm looking at some comments. I was talking about the fact that tomorrow kicks off Gay Pride Month. The month of June is gay. And I talked about their fight for their LGBTQ plus rights. And it involved, the reason it's in June is because that's when the big uprising at Stonewall, the gay bar in New York City, back in 1969. And I was like, gay bars back then were pretty disgusting. I don't know what they're like now. I just assume it's like the bar Vito was in The Sopranos when he was in the leather hat and the chaps and everything. It's a joke. Hey, don't tell my wife. That's the impression I get. But back then, I kind of bashed Stonewall and 60s, early 70s gay bars. And Roberto, he's got a comment here. He goes, listening now, been in New York City since 1971. If you look at the Stonewall, he goes, I'm not gay. I love how he had to put that in. Hey, I'm not gay. But the situation was a confluence of arcane laws. Bars couldn't get liquor licenses. Gays couldn't be served liquor. How crazy is that? The mob ran the place, police corruption, pinching the place for money. Yeah, I do understand, Roberto. I get that there was an issue back then. There was a lot of prejudice against gay people, especially gay men. Lesbians was a whole nother thing. But gay men really did. They got the crap beat out of them in a lot of instances when they were showing public displays of affection with each other. That just does not happen now. They won. You got your equality. You got your allies. You still have people that do not support or celebrate your lifestyle. And that's fine. That's everyone's right. You can't force a person to enjoy something that they aren't very hip to, A lot of very religious people, Christians, they think the gay lifestyle is against their religion, sacrilege. And that's their right, too. It's not their right to discriminate or turn to violence or anything like that. And that did happen back then. And I can't imagine the NYPD of 1969 being tolerant of a gay bar. They probably went in there constantly cracking heads open, giving them the old gay wood shampoo. But that's done. It's not happening anymore. And to think that they still have to fight for those rights is just, it's a grift. They're just keeping that machine running because it's lucrative. It gives the LGBTQ organizations a power base. It gives them victimhood. Yeah, people don't like gay people. Some people do not like gay people, don't like their lifestyle. That's no excuse for violence or anything like that. But they have every right to say, I'm disgusted with your lifestyle. Or as far as transgender women go, that were men that became women, they could be absolutely disgusted about that and voice their take on it. And they should be allowed to do that. That isn't going to stop. And there's no right that you can come up with that gives you the right to not be offended or criticized or have that guy talk about you like he's disgusted by you, because that's his right. So while I understand what you're saying, Roberto, it was pretty crazy back then, it's not now. So I think we can chill on that whole thing. Speaking of, California gubernatorial candidate Tom Steyer, he was speaking to a trans athlete the other day, and it was so interesting. You know, maybe when this gets to YouTube, we can put the video to this because it's pretty funny. This guy looks so uncomfortable standing next to a transgender woman. Used to be a dude, is now a woman, young woman that is participating in sports. And of course, you know, there are a lot of people that do not think that is a good thing. They think that the guy that becomes a woman has an unbelievable advantage against women when it comes to sports. There are physiological differences, mental differences, a whole bunch of differences. And it seems like nature over the course of millennia has made the decision that men and women are different and that men, generally speaking, are physically stronger than women. This is just the way it's been since Ugg hit him with a club. But some people think that that doesn't mean anything and that men can become women, compete against women, and it's still fair. It's ridiculous. So gubernatorial candidate, California, Tom Steyer, he's standing next to this trans athlete. His body language is hilarious. He's folding his arms. He's shuffling. He puts his hands in his pocket. Like, you could tell he's disturbed by this, or maybe he's getting a little titillated with the thought of a young woman with a little bit extra, if you know what I mean. So let's listen to this conversation between a trans athlete and Governor hopeful from California, Tom Steyer. AC7 would be the clip.
On Instagram Reels, I saw you guys were talking about me and the support that I had, despite all the social media drama.
Not the worst voice I've heard off of a transgender woman.
That you're set on just basically a set choice on where you stand with trans athletes.
I am.
It was nice to just have a straight decision on who you support.
Well, you know what I always say, and I think I said this to your mom. Most people support you 90% of the time, just not the 10% you need them for. If we're going to be on side, then we're on side 100% of the time.
I've been outed like so many times over and over, you know, docs where I go to school. So I feel like more safety aspect and not just supporting, but
protecting.
Protection.
I totally agree. Look,
yeah.
You know, it's I was saying in this town hall, it's the job of the governor to stand between danger and Californians. And I mean it.
What?
And to make sure that people are safe and to protect them from all the malign influences in this world.
Danger is my middle name.
Super seriously for you. Just so you know. And I'm so proud of you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
So proud of you for succeeding. So proud of you for competing.
Can I look at it? Can I just look at it?
And I'm going to hope like heck that you don't just make state, but you do really well there.
Thank you.
Deal?
Deal.
Congratulations on what you've done as a mom.
Shakes hands like it's a dude.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Thank
you both. Congratulations.
Way to go.
You guys are special.
All right. Way to go. He was so nervous. I think he was falling in lust. But, I mean, really, dude? Really? You're running for the governorship of California there, and you're so against women, their rights. This is actually an instance where women's rights are being violated and infringed upon. In general, they cannot compete with a transgender woman physically. That's just the fact of the matter. And this guy trying to show what a great liberal Democrat he is, taking the side of, look, that kid might be the greatest, nicest kid, but truth be told, you have to draw a line somewhere. And that is unfair to young women athletes who have worked their lives to excel. Back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome back. And let's go to Tony in Queens. Tony, what's up, my friend? Tony. Hey, yeah. Oh, Tony, Queens. Hey.
The 16 ticket thing, I don't think people really understand how bad that really is.
Yeah.
The camera tickets, which if you now with this Mandami clown, they're going to reduce the speed limit again.
Yep.
And if you go 1 mile over the limit, it's a speeding ticket. So now you're getting a ticket from a camera that you're not even in the car. So if you're a parent or you're a father and all the cars are in your name, for argument's sake, and
right,
you're dead.
Yeah.
This
is
insane. People are so stupid. They just don't get it.
Yeah, it's another tax. It's just another tax. You're gonna speed, especially when they lower the speed limit to some ridiculous rates like 20 miles an hour. You're gonna do 22, 23, and a camera isn't a cop that is pulling you over and you go, dude, really 23? It's all impersonal. They just give it to you. The computer, the camera tells the computer sends out the fine. There's not a person involved in the chain until it gets to you and you go, Jesus, what is this? So, yeah, it's a way for them to make revenue. And you know damn well Mamdani will do anything he needs to do to make more money, to put forward his ridiculous, wasteful programs. But it's just the start. It's just the start. We've seen this before. Technology will always go to the powerful against the powerless. You will pay for it, and it will be used against you in a court of law or anywhere else. That's how it works, Tony. Yeah, I know it. Nope. There was another gizmo that they were putting in cars. They still are for insurance companies. I've talked about this before, but it makes sense now to bring it up. The safe driver discount that insurance companies are putting out. They've done this for years. They go on a TV. They put a commercial on that says you could get a safe driver discount. You put a little device in your car. Don't even notice it. It goes with where the fuses go. And then it is like a black box for an airplane. It lets the insurance company know how fast you go in certain speed zones, how hard you're braking at stop signs and lights, if you're rolling through a stop sign, any kind of dramatic, abrupt movements that you make, it's all there. And instead of saying, well, this is a device, it's called we are raising your rates because you drive like a mental patient, it wouldn't sell very well, would it? I don't think a lot of people would want to put that in their car. But that's what it is. It's not a safe driver discount. Oh, we want to see our safe drivers so we can take $5 off their yearly premium. They want to put that in your car and raise your rates or cancel you outright if you drive a little crazy. Don't ever think it's in your best interest for a business or the government to have anything in your house, in your vehicle, on your person that they can monitor anything you're doing. no matter how they sell it as a convenience, but it is never, ever in your best interest. Just please remember that. Robert in North Carolina, my neighbor to the north. What's up?
Hi, I'm an expat like you.
Yeah, I love it, right? Get the hell out of Dodge.
Yes. Now, that new law, I looked into it, is more than speeding. Do you know how easy it is to get speeding tickets with these speed cameras in New York City?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable because they've lowered the speed limit so drastically.
That's just it, Robert. It sounds insane to say 16 speeding tickets. If every one of those was a cop pulling you over, going up to your window, having the discussion, 16 tickets would be insane. But if you're just driving around Manhattan and you go through or go past some of these cameras and you're doing 3-4 miles an hour over the speed limit, you could hit 4 cameras a day. Within 4 days, you're already up to 16. And there you go. You got to put their little device in your vehicle.
You have to also put that device, if you are tagged with this, into each of your cars at $1,000 to $1,500 a pop.
Yeah.
And
now
it's also designed to tag drivers who get 11 or more points in an 18-month period. That's 3 more moving violations and you're toast.
Yeah. It knows where you're going. It knows where you've been, how fast you're going. You know, some people I've had this conversation with, they bring up the DWI thing, where if you get a DWI or a few DWIs, they put the device in your car that you have to blow into, and if you pass the breathalyzer, you could start your car. That at least from what I know, and years ago, I never got one. I never, I'll knock wood. I won't even say it to jinx myself. But it's self-contained. You blow in it. If you're clean, you can start your vehicle. It's not sending anything out, as far as I know. If you're drinking, you won't be able to start your car. This is more of a tracking device, and it just doesn't seem like, it seems like something that they could do a lot more with, because you are linked up to GPS, and I just don't trust it. And I don't like the idea of the DWI thing either. I think if you have 3 DWIs like that, you should lose your license. It's very simple. Driving is a privilege, and you got to obey the rules. And if you don't, and you're habitual with some of your violations, look, you lost your license, or it's suspended, and then it might get you at some point that you got to stop doing what you're doing. But to put these gadgets in your car, it's reeks of dystopia.
It also could be a way to raise taxes in the future. Imagine having to pay 10 cents a mile as a highway safety fee because you have this.
Yeah. How about you have an SUV and it burns a lot of gas? It's got a huge carbon footprint. So you're taxed more per mile than a small economy car or an electric vehicle would be. And now you don't even get to choose the vehicle you want because you have to consider having to pay more money in taxes. They will do anything they can to get their hand into your pocket. And if they could use technology to do it, they've been doing it. It's not even like they will. That's what they've been doing. Robert, thank you, man.
Everywhere you go.
Yep. Appreciate the call. I can't hang up on Robert right now. You have to. Robert, you can hang up. I think I can trust you. Here you go. I hope. Let's see. Oh, one of my Reverend Al. Reverend Al. I like the old fat Reverend Al so much better. Now he talks a little lower. He's a little more drawn out. I don't appreciate what we're seeing. The old days, it was like, I am outraged. Remember that? He had that giant medallion he would wear, the jogging suits. He looked like the Grimace with the James Brown hairdo and everything. It's just fantastic. The 80s. 80s Rivernal was my favorite Rivernal. But he's still out there, and he's still race baiting. And his latest cause du jour is the president, Donald Trump, holding a UFC fight on the White House lawn. Now, all right, it is a little odd. It's a little gladiator-like, you know, get him in there and fight. White House lawn. I think there are venues in D.C. that they could go to and hold a UFC fight, and, you know, Trump would be there. I find it odd. I'm not pissed about it. I'm not disturbed by it. I'm not angered by it. It's just something that seems a little weird because I don't think we've seen anything like that before. Spectacles. I hear tell, though, that Teddy Roosevelt, I think it was, would hold boxing matches on the White House lawn. They'd set up a ring and there'd be boxing matches. But I don't know. These days, it just seems weird. But, all right, we'll see how it goes. Reverend Al thinks, and of course, that this harkens back. And what Trump is doing is trying to bring back slave fights. You know, Django, remember Django? And they'd have the slave fights and everything, Mandingo fights, whatever they called them in that film. Reverend Al thinks that's what the MO is here. Everything Trump does, there are certain blacktivists like Reverend Al that have to make it about slavery and a return to Jim Crow and, you know, with the voting thing, which the Supreme Court says you cannot divide up districts in a state on racial lines, because that's what the Democrats were trying to do. So the Supreme Court said, yeah, you can't do that. Dividing it on racial lines is unconstitutional. And the Democrats complained that it was a return to Jim Crow. It's like, no, that's always been unconstitutional. But I think it's like a knee-jerk reflex action. Trump's doing something. It's got to be racist. So Reverend Al thinks that this is a return to the old slave fights on the plantations by having a UFC fight on the White House lawn. Let's listen. The clip is AC8. Let's listen to Reverend Al.
Because when we're dealing with this redistricting, Trump and others are trying to bring us back to an America that we struggle to get out of. So there is a connection of why they're having these fights on the White House lawn, the UFO and all whatever
UFO.
They call it, and all that, because they're trying to go back to that when, you know, they'd watch people have these fights for the slave masters and they'd be entertained by that. They're literally going back to that. Let's not forget.
Look at these ICE raids playing out on America's streets.
Let's not forget one of the things that I think slips a lot of people. When Donald Trump first was elected in 2016, Mika, in 2017 when he went to Oval Office, one of the first things he did was hang a picture of President Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was a slave-owning president who nominated Judge Roger Taney to the Supreme Court. Taney became the Chief Justice that saw the Dred Scott decision passed. Why didn't anybody ask Trump, Andrew Jackson? I don't even remember reading about him in elementary school. Why Jackson? That's the kind of country he wants us to go back to, Andrew Jackson, and we must resist that with all we have.
Oh, God. Why Andrew Jackson? A president of the United States? Maybe he liked some of the stuff he did. Great president. I don't know, Reverend Al. Do you really have to look at all that? He appointed the Dred Scott decision. Oh, Al. Reverend Al. I liked when he just ran around Crown Heights insulting Jewish people. That's what he used to do, I guess. But, you know, to try to equate UFC fights on the lawn to slave fighting. I mean, there are plenty of UFC fighters that are not black. And the other thing is, did the slaves during the slave fights make millions of dollars on their bouts? Because, the UFC fighters, they do pretty well. I don't know if you could quite make that comparison to maybe getting some extra collard greens in your shack that night, or getting, a couple of $1 million for fighting, Reverend Al. But it's got to be. Reverend Al's got a brand to keep, and his brand is racism. Got a race bait. Oh, my God. Like I said, it's a little odd. It's a little different, but that's what Trump does. He's a little different. So I don't know. Reverend Al. And he lost so much weight over the years. I thought because he was a big guy, like fat and everything. And I assumed he was also tall because he was so fat. I don't know. Now it's just he's a skinny little guy. The suit that's...
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show, and thank you so much for tuning in. It's greatly appreciated. Talking about governors, mayors, big cities, Democrat cities, blue cities, crime. Oh, God. No show would be complete if we were touching on those topics and those places and those people, unless I brought up Mayor Brandon Johnson from Chicago. He's one of the worst, if not the worst mayor. I put him worse than Mamdani in a different way, obviously. New York under a socialist mayor, a Muslim mayor. It's not a good look for New York City. But this Mayor Brandon Johnson out of Chicago will never do what needs to be done to make Chicago a safer place. I don't know, a more pleasant place for the people to live, the tax-paying, productive members of Chicago. He will not do what needs to be done. The bodies pile up every weekend. As the weather gets warmer, the body count goes up. They were clamoring the other day that there were only a couple of deaths, murders in Chicago over Memorial Day weekend. But then you saw how many shootings there were and how many people were injured by gunfire. And you realize there's two things in play here. Horrible marksmanship. I mean, the switch on the Glock makes it completely inaccurate. You're turning a semi-automatic handgun into a full automatic handgun, so there's no accuracy. You fire off 30 or 20 some odd rounds in a second. Those bullets are going everywhere. Grandma's getting hit, a baby in a stroller's getting hit, everyone but the piece of crap you're aiming at. So that is part of it. And then the other part of it, of course, the amazing surgeons, the people that have come back from wars to work in very big cities, in their hospitals, in trauma centers. They're so used to treating gunshot wounds from wars that they become very proficient at patching these idiots up and keeping them from dying. It certainly doesn't mean there's less shooting going on. It's just circumstances have made it where there's not as many people dying from those gunshots. So it's not really a flex on Mayor Johnson's part that the actual death from gunfire has gone down. But he's finally pointing the finger of blame. These teen takeovers that happen in Chicago. They happen in L.A., New York under Mamdani. I don't remember hearing about these people doing donuts, a flaming Jeep in the middle of it. They're running each other over, gunfire. It wasn't really a New York thing. It was primarily an L.A. thing. And Chicago kind of got into it. Now it's not just the street takeovers. It's just gangs of roving teens that rob, assault, and set things on fire. Sounds fun. So Mayor Johnson has finally decided to point the finger of blame. And who does he blame? Well, let's listen to AC3 for Mayor Johnson and his finger pointing.
We prevent the vast majority of these from ever taking place. You know, there's an effort in city council to hold these social media apparatuses accountable. I believe that we should continue to explore that, and I'm going to continue to work with Alderman Hall around that. It's why we're actually taxing these big tech companies for the role that they have played in harming the mental health and well-being of our young people.
Can you believe it? Social media's to blame because the teens are using social media. Because how else do you gather up 200 people that are all of the same mindset that they want to screw up a city? So that's the problem. If we can only keep them from gathering together in one spot, then the problem's solved. You don't want to look into why they're doing this? Maybe discipline, maybe some true consequence. No, you'll blame the social media platforms. Hey, you got a phone, 2 social media platforms just stole my truck. That's what's going on. The audacity of this mayor. Taxing. So taxing social media platforms like X and YouTube and some of these messaging services that people are using to get together for nefarious deeds. If you tax them, somehow, I don't even know how you'd make this connection. Somehow, some way, that will fix the problem with young teens running around a city, destroying it, and assaulting people. If you tax X or YouTube or Instagram or any of the other number of places. All right. I guess, what do I know, though? What do I know? He's the mayor. He knows best. This guy will go to any length to not place blame on anyone in the black community for anything going on in Chicago. Not one thing. It's the definition of being a racist. He looks at his skin color, looks at the perpetrators, the teens' skin color, and goes, I need to do everything in my power to not point a finger of blame on the teens, their parents, the culture. None of it is to be criticized. And the bodies pile up every single weekend. All right, kids. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be right back here next Sunday, 8 p.m. We look forward to talking with you. Good night.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.